All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to take what is honestly a pretty dense 15-step strategic planning document, and we're going to transform it into a clear, highly actionable architectural blueprint for organizational renewal. Look, whether you're recovering from a minor stumble, a massive failure, or you're just navigating a really complex pivot, resetting your organization's direction is incredibly daunting. But don't worry, because we have the source material right here to guide us through exactly what new strategies we need to adopt to get things back on track.
So, how do you position for sustainable growth? That is the ultimate high-stakes question every leader absolutely must answer when charting a new course. You don't just want to barely survive a pivot, right? You want to actually set the foundation for serious resilience and sustainable growth over the long haul. Today, we're going to map out exactly how to do that step by step using a really highly structured framework.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be hitting 5 key stops. 1. Assessing your current reality. 2. Choosing the right strategy. 3. Mapping the implementation plan. 4. Navigating risks and metrics. And finally, 5. Aligning with long-term vision. Let's dive right in.
Okay, starting with part 1, assessing your current reality, or as the subtitle puts it, surveying the organizational landscape. Look, you simply can't fix what you refuse to acknowledge. This framework forces you to literally put your key findings right next to your actual glaring operational and financial gaps. For instance, say your financials are bleeding right now, but hey, your product feedback is absolutely stellar. This kind of audit forces you to confront the specific gaps in their business model, like maybe your pricing or your distribution, rather than just relying on gut feelings to make decisions. Moving right along to section 2, choosing the right strategy. This is where we start drafting the blueprints for success. From our source document, we've distilled 6 absolutely critical focus areas for renewal, ranging all the way from market repositioning down to financial discipline. Now, here is the catch. You literally cannot execute all of these at once. It's impossible. You must ruthlessly rank these by importance, high, medium, or low. If cash is super tight, well, financial discipline is your high priority. But if your software keeps crashing, technology takes the top spot. And as you're brainstorming these strategic options, just listing the potential benefits isn't going to cut it. You have to counterweight those benefits against the key risks and then actually score the feasibility on a scale of 1 to 5. It's a reality check. Building an innovative new AI platform might have massive benefits on paper, but if your feasibility score is sitting at a 1 because you don't actually have any developers, well, that's just a fantasy. You've got to stay grounded in reality. Once you've chosen your best options, you lock them in. But here is a crucial takeaway for us. A winning option only becomes a true strategy when it gets assigned a clear timeline, short, medium, or long term, and a specific human owner. If marketing owns a task, that is way too vague. If Sarah from marketing owns it, boom, now you have absolute accountability. Without that name attached, a strategy objective is really just a nice suggestion floating around the boardroom. All right, section 3, mapping the implementation plan. Time for laying the operational foundation. Because let's be real, a strategy without an execution plan is just a wish. You can't do everything on day 1. This 3-phase implementation roadmap demands that every single action gets tied to a specific timeline, a responsible team, and a KPI, or key performance indicator. Breaking this rollout into phase 1, 2, and 3 totally prevents organizational burnout. The KPIs act as your pulse check for each phase, telling you definitively whether you're actually ready to graduate to the next step. But phase 2 always sounds fantastic until you realize you have 0 budget left. You simply cannot execute these phases without clearly mapping out the hard resources required to fuel them. We're talking financial budgets, human hours, technology needs, and strategic partnerships. If you draft this grand strategy, but you haven't allocated the human hours or the budget to back it up, the entire blueprint just collapses. Plus, rolling out new blueprints requires managing internal resistance. People naturally fear change. It's just human nature. So, keeping all stakeholders aligned means you need targeted, frequent communication. You've got to map out the changes to the organizational structure and team roles, and then specifically tailor your messaging for leadership, employees, investors, and customers. They all need to hear the exact same vision, but translate it into what it actually means for them specifically. Which brings us to section 4, navigating risks and metrics. This is where we start stress testing the new structure. You absolutely have to pre-plan your mitigation strategies. Why? Because unforeseen barriers are exactly what derail most pivots. Whether we're looking at financial constraints, talent gaps, market resistance, or operational delays, you need to identify the barrier, assess its potential impact, and define a mitigation strategy right away. If a talent gap is imminent, your mitigation might be an aggressive upskilling program planned well before that gap actually hurts you.
So, how do we know if our mitigation is working and our strategy is succeeding? We track these specific impact metrics against target dates to ensure we're actually improving. And notice the blend here. It's really smart. We have hard quantitative metrics like revenue growth and operational cost reduction. But right alongside them, we have qualitative, softer metrics like brand perception and employee morale. Tracking both gives you a true 360-degree view of your organization's overall health. And this right here is the ultimate feedback loop. It's a strict iteration timeline to guarantee we never just slip back into the stagnation that caused our initial pivot. At 30 days, you ask a very simple question: what's working and what's not? At 90 days, you check the hard math. Are we actually on track with our KPIs? And at that 6-month mark, you look at the big picture. What pivots or scaling steps are needed now? This keeps the whole organization agile and honest. Finally, Section 5, aligning with long-term vision, securing that ultimate destination. Here is the deal. Every single new strategy, I don't care how incredibly profitable it seems on paper, has to be checked against the organization's foundational mission to see if adjustments are needed. If a strategy boosts revenue but totally violates your core values or drifts away from your fundamental mission, it's a bad strategy, period. This alignment check ensures that in your total rush to renew, you don't accidentally lose the soul of your organization. And you lock this entire framework in by summarizing your immediate next actions. From that giant 15-step document, you distill it right down to this. What are your most promising strategies? What are the very first actions to execute tomorrow morning? Which key partners do you need to call? And what is the single most vital success indicator you're going to monitor first? This bridges that critical gap between high-level theory and Monday morning execution. I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought straight from our source material to ask yourself as you prepare to cross the bridge into your organization's next chapter. Which new strategies will best position the organization for sustainable growth and resilience in the next phase? It's not just about what's easiest right now, it's about what will genuinely build sustainable growth and ultimate resilience for the future. Take this blueprint, apply it to your reality, and start building. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.